Hi, I'm Jocelyn Ruggiero and this is Snippets. My guest today is Betty Fussell. Betty is an award-winning writer and the author of 12 books that range from cookbook to memoir, biography, food history. Among her many awards are an award for journalism from the James Beard Foundation and the Who's Who, Food and Beverage. And Betty's latest book is a wonderful collection of essays I have right here, Eat, Live, Love, Die, selected essays that span almost 50 years. So welcome, Betty. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Jocelyn. I'm so delighted to be here with you.
From Casa Dorinda in Santa Barbara, California, right?
I'm in Santa Barbara, and you are back where snow is.
That's right, I am. It looks very glamorous there. I feel like I'm peeking into a dinner at 8 Hollywood film there in the background.
You are peeking into Hollywood. Yes, California is Hollywood. It's a made-up land.
It is. So I learned so much reading these essays and encountering ones that I'd never seen before from publications that no longer exist. It was really a delight. So in your essay for F, which I really enjoyed very much, you talked about food as a revelatory window on the world. And I'm wondering today, specifically today, in the context of all the political turmoil we're experiencing now, how, I'm assuming you do, and if so, how do you think writing about food matters, is relevant, is revelatory in that way you described?
Writing about food always matters because food is life. So eating and cooking, you don't have to cook, you do have to eat. Everybody has to eat.
Yes.
So the basis of food is other people. You don't create the food products yourself. You could raise a carrot, but you cannot raise everything that you're going to need. So you are always dependent on something and somebody else, and then you bring it to a table where the assumption is you will eat it with somebody else.
Right.
Usually, there is some, you want to share it.
Right.
But because when a baby is born, the baby cannot live without somebody else feeding it milk, preferably mama, or substitute mama, or bottle, which is a substitute mama. Right. But that's how we know. That's how we learn. We're not just the only squalling mouth in the universe. Yeah. So for current politics, you can never have me first and only, because that doesn't work with food. No. So it's an immediate window on anything that is culturally relevant, and everything is culturally relevant to food. So that window is always open.
Right. And I was so struck in all of, even, on your website, you called it food history, but I was so struck in essay after essay how there was no history, food history, how everything was so woven together, and that's what was so rich about this work. And it was a window into everything.
We don't have to arrange, because we don't arrange this way in our mind. Food is memory. Memory, our closest, most intimate memories, our earliest memories are about food. So it doesn't have to be presented in a chronological manner. It is much more like we are to have it a mosaic and to have flashbacks and going on all the time, the way memories do, the way dreams do. That's how we remember food, and what we remember we taste. It's in our heads and our hearts long before it's in our palates.
Right. So something else I was struck by, of course, is the mystery, the mythology of the Western frontier pervades so much of your writing. So after so many years in New York City, I know you returned west where you came from, and and I loved this, of course, the book, which is also, the photo in the book, which is also in Vogue, is so evokes that Western mythology when I look at
California, Bolinas Bay, Bill Nyman's Ranch.
That's right.
That's California.
So why west? Why did you go back west?
Because I have always been a Westerner. When I was never a New Yorker, never for a moment. Although I lived 70 years in the East, I was never an Easterner. I was a migrant, transplant to a place that I loved, back east. But that didn't mean I didn't love where I came from. So turning home to Santa Barbara after a lifetime in the East was joy, because I returned to my landscape, my literal tree roots, plant roots,
right? So
and family roots.
And you've come home.
I've come home.
You know, your essay, the essay where your essay about MFK Fisher, which is, I'm remembering it like it's so cinematic. I picture that essay, and you quote her about living fully, and I was so struck when I read that. That's exactly how I think of Betty, is living fully. How do you is that how you think of yourself, and how do you live fully now?
It's how I think of California.
California, really?
Look at the pioneers of America's food revolution: MFK Fisher, Julia Child, Pasadena, James Beard, Oregon, West Coast, but on the coast. Okay, everybody but Craig Claiborne in my, naming the four who sort of transformed America in the 60s in terms of food. Right. Every one of them had come from outside New York, where you don't live fully in the same way. You live at one extreme, enormously exciting, enormous energy, but it is not real life any more than Hollywood is real life.
Right. So how is it? So I'm not.
That can get people riled, but never mind.
So living fully is living fully in on the West Coast in California and Santa Barbara.
No. No. It's just that for me, the fullest life has to be directly connected to nature.
Right.
So I could not have that in New York. I did not have a country house, so I just had my little New York apartment. That means no access directly to the outside except going down the door and into the sidewalk and into the street with the steel and glass.
Right.
Okay, that is a fabulous city, which I loved every minute of. But I knew it was an unreal city, as all cities are.
Right. So are you living fully in a different way now? In just in terms of how you experience nature, food, are you cooking differently and eating differently? Yes.
Absolutely, because I eat on my patio every day, which was my dream world of returning to California and eating inside outside and having inside outside the same space, which you can do here in the war, and which is what Southern California is all for and about.
And you can grill a steak outside, right?
Pardon?
You can grill a steak outside.
You can do anything. You grill a steak, and the squirrels will come around, and everybody, the birds, everyone will ask for food, and the hummingbirds at their little feeder, and they're saying, "I want a little bite too, but if it has honey on it."
Right. So Betty, you're working on another book now as well, aren't you? And are you?
Yes, this is the biography, the second memoir, the second autobiography. The first autobiography, from the cradle to the time I split with my husband and went to New York. So this was New York to Santa Barbara. But because that shift is so major, I've had to rewrite. In effect, I'm rewriting the whole thing because returning flips everything.
Right.
And it's important that I am 90. So I'm at the end of the chapter. Knowing that changes everything.
Does it change your early memory? I mean, do you feel like your age, when you think back to eating an egg sandwich before you went to the desert with your family, and when you have these food memories of your childhood, do you feel like it's different looking back from the age of 90 than it would have been if you remembered them at 35?
Yes, sure.
Yes.
Everything is different because you have a limited time to eat those sandwiches. Every sandwich is more special. Everything you eat is more special. Every day is more special. If there weren't an end to it, you couldn't savor that specialness.
Right.
That's why it's not eat, live, love. No, eat, live, love, die. That's the round table.
Right.
Which, when you're old enough, you can embrace it instead of being terrified of it.
Wow, that's a good way to end our time talking together. Here's to embracing it, right? Embracing and savoring.
Embracing it.
Yes. Well,
taste this moment. It's different from any other moment.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Betty, for talking to me today. I really
enjoyed
it.
Thank you, beautiful lady.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.